I mean, it is star-studded. Some of the best coming out to race this afternoon.
Yeah, what about this guy right here, Kyle Larson? So good at this track, has one win in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, also stellar in the Cup Series. Parker and I were talking a little bit ago, just, you know, one of the greatest drivers in America right now. For these guys to get their shot to race against him, it's gonna be fun for them to watch what this guy can do in a car.
It's so cliche to say, right, when we see these Cup drivers come down to the O'Reilly Series and we talk about, hey, you can learn something, whatever, but you better believe if you're a full-time O'Reilly Series driver like a Jesse Love or an Austin Hill, when Kyle Larson comes down, there's a little motivation to beat him. You're gonna learn something. You know that. You're gonna see him do something that you think, man, yeah, he gets away with that because he's just dropping down for fun, gonna go run a race. He doesn't have any points on his mind and that sort of thing, but you're also gonna be able to see where he just is able to do things to that car, possibly the way he runs the wall, whatever it is, that's gonna make you think, okay, that's the level I need to be. And if you can beat him, it's an incredible feeling, I would think. I haven't really pulled it off much.
And I think that's a great point, Parker. You talk about running the wall. I think we're going to see that today. It's going to be hot today. It's going to be 90 degrees. Last year we ran this race. It was in the 60s. It's already hotter in practice today than it was when we raced here last March. So you're going to see guys all over the racetrack, and Larson will be one of the first guys clearly to get to the top, get the track cleaned off, and have that momentum late in the run.
26, Dean Thompson, trying to get things moving in the right direction for Sam Hunt Racing. Difficult start for this Toyota group. So much anticipation coming into the year with Harrison Burton coming over, the successful rookie season for Thompson a year ago. Exactly one top 20 finish between the two drivers through 4 races this year.
It's been a disastrous start for Sam Hunt. I spoke to him last week about this, and you know, it's not like they haven't run 2 cars before, right? And so I don't think that's the big problem. I think they just came in with a lot of anticipation with how well they ran last year, especially Dean, having Harrison Burton come in, how well he ran at AM Racing last year, thinking, hey, you know, this is what our chance to take the next step forward. And you know, when you look at this first part of the season, we've talked about it, 2 drafting tracks, a road course, finally somewhat typical oval at Phoenix, but really hasn't been, you know, those are places where you can go all wrong for you, and it definitely has for Sam Hunt, and maybe here today is the place they need to turn that around.
But I think a lot of that's just been circumstantial with those teams. They've been caught up in a lot of wrecks, and we talked about those first 3 races being 2 drafting tracks and then having that road course. Look, it can go. We've seen it on the Cup side. Reddick has home runned it at those tracks. The other side of that is what we've seen from Sam Hunt Racing, where things just have not went their way, and it's gotten them behind.
Well, and that's frustrating for a guy like Harrison Burton, who a year ago with a new team at AM Racing comes out with back-to-back top 10s. And as Jamie said, when you have those wild cards this year, it can kind of go in the other direction. Good run last week at Phoenix for Jeremy Clements, and kind of a new setup for him this year when you think about the alliance that they've developed with the Haas factory team. He's a guy that embraces all that is Las Vegas. Did you know, learned this week, that he actually did the jump off the stratosphere?
No,
zero chance.
Nope. Absolutely no chance I'm doing that. No.
That looks terrible to me.
Just terrifying.
Celebrity sky jumpers. Look at that. Got his name on a little placard.
You know, I hung off a rope at Bristol off Colossus many years ago. They winched me up there. That was terrifying.
Many people wanted to cut that rope.
Yeah, I thought you were the first at the top.
I will say this, though. Jeremy Clements just does things different. He got engaged when he was skydiving. So jumping off the stratosphere, really not that big a deal. You know, if you're going to jump out of an airplane, off the stratosphere is like child play.
So he's an adrenaline junkie.
I guess so.
That's what I'm learning.
Aren't you all? I don't know.
Yeah. And Adam, you talked about him having a good run last weekend. There was a point in the race on older tires that he might have been the best car, and we were all caught off guard a little bit by that. But that team had a tremendous amount of speed, and they have this connection with Haas factory team right now. We know how well those cars are running. It's going to be a great year for them if they can get just a little bit of momentum on their side.
And that's a really good-looking car, by the way. Just have to put it out there. That
we'll see.
The Alliance car with the Alliance with HFT.
It's all tied together. Mentioned Harrison Burton, Sam Hunt Racing. Here's the 24. You know, when you look at his career, And you see the numbers here, really good on mile-and-a-half tracks, especially back in 2020 when he was driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, and really that was served as his coming out party. And when you think about Vegas, you think about his dad, Jeff, who was so successful here, a 3-time winner in Sin City in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
And we saw that on the graphic there, that win at Texas. That's when he beat Noah Gragson in that final corner.
Incredible.
Move. Awesome move. It was so cool. I remember watching that real time on pit lane and just thought that was really cool at that time for that racetrack. It was such an awkward groove, and he just he did a great job on the final lap, which was super cool. And I know he's very motivated to try and get back to victory lane. As we move to his cousin, they seem to find each other on the racetrack this year, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like they're always around each other.
I wouldn't say that's a this year thing.
Maybe that's
because universally they do. And hey, you talk about drivers that performed last week. We popped Jeremy Clements. Jeb Burton needed it, and he got it last Saturday at Phoenix. Was good in practice, backed it up in qualifying, and goes out top 10 finish and got stage points in the race.
And speaking of alliances, that's something that Jordan Anderson Racing did in the offseason. They got that alliance with Richard Childress Racing, and last week we spoke to Jeb, and he was like, hey, before practice, I'm really curious. Like, have we learned something from that alliance? And sure enough, he was quick in practice. They had a good qualifying effort, and he was really good in the race. So that's got to be a really good feeling for Jordan Anderson Racing.
What about this guy right here, Ryan Sieg? We talked about that alliance with Haas Factory Team and Jeremy Clements. Ryan Sieg also having that same alliance. And as I look at the timing and scoring right now, those two are first and second, seem to have really good speed. He's looking to turn his season around as well. Has that runner-up finish here back in 2024. Just need to get a little bit of momentum for both Clements and Sieg, and I think they're going to have a great year.
You look at Sieg here, last 4 races, he had the runner-up in the playoffs to Allmendinger. The other 3 finishes 7th place. 777s is good in Las Vegas.
That is good. This race last year had that transmission issue.
That's right.
Still had a ton of speed.
And came back for a top 10, which is impressive. Almost 10 minutes into practice here at Las Vegas. It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Glad you're spending part of your Saturday with us. We're live on the CW. .24 cars have been out in practice for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Among them, 44 Brennan Poole. Here's Kim Coon.
Yeah, and one of the things that drivers have to be wary of when they come to Vegas is the bump in 1 and 2. And if your car's not handling right, it can completely upset your lap. Here's what Brennan Poole said on the last run.
Down bounce it bad over the bumps, or just hit something?
I mean, I definitely could hear it touching, so it's probably splitter, I'm guessing, but it feels like kind of, it's just wavy, like, yeah, it's just rough through there. I mean, the bumps could be worse than last year, but I don't think I've ever gone through them and it been that rough.
Well, that's something we talk about often here as we see Dawson Cram was smoking, so we've got a caution on the track, possibly some fluid, 3 and 4. But these bumps in 1 and 2, talk about it all, they've been here, I don't know, as long as I can remember, and you see the car bouncing right there, and then right as he gets right there, the bumps get worse, and you see the car. That's a technical term in motorsports. It's called porpoising. And basically, what you do down in 1 and 2 is you can basically try to go below them where your right sides hit it, because the bumps effectively are like, if I draw here, are like around this.
I think you're porpoising right
well,
there
I'm
with that
porpoising
line.
a little bit, but basically, yeah, you can see where you could effectively, if you get to the white line, be below the bumps, or you can run on, above them if you go to the next groove up, and it's kind of a choice you have to make. But where that line is basically no man's land. You don't want to be there, and we talk often about those bumps, trying to avoid them, trying to make the car get through them, and I've found, and I think a lot of people, is you're not going to make the car great through there and then also great in 3 and 4, so you might as well just try to get below them. But that is a lot. That is a lot of movement. They're going to have to look at that and figure out why that car is bouncing so much.
The give and take in the setup. And then the other thing that I would think about too is lane selection on restarts, right? And where do you want to be to manage all of that? Just over half the cars have been out in practice. Kyle Larson, not one of them, but he's ready to go. Hopefully on track when we return. Every time you come to Vegas, you're just like, wow. That scene, the Strip, about 30 minutes away from the racetrack, a halt in practice for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series because of some fluid on track. So let's hear from drivers on the biggest gamble they've ever taken.
Oh, the biggest gamble?
That's a very loaded question.
Man, I don't know if I've ever gotten the chance to really gamble in Vegas. I just turned 21.
Yeah, I'm not old enough to gamble, but I think the biggest gamble that I've taken in my life is, I think, taking this deal with Hendrick Motorsports, moving across the country and starting a whole new life at 19 years old.
That's a great question. I think maybe blocking Kyle Busch to win at Daytona.
Busch goes low. Burton blocks. Jeff, your little boy, has done it.
Well, jump out of a plane. That's pretty I mean, I would think that's pretty risky. I've jumped off the stratosphere in Vegas multiple times, which I love, and I would suggest doing it if you're not scared.
A few years back when I was running in the truck series, went bottom of 3 wide getting into turn 1, not thinking it was going to work. I got lucky and fortunate enough that the 2 guys on my outside kind of got together. That cleared me the lead and was able to get the win. So we took the gamble and it paid off.
I'm going to find an empty Baccarat table and have at it when I get there, and we'll see how we go. And I'm either going to use up all my bad luck, or I'm going to get the good luck rolling before the race.
It's great that Love is 21 now.
Yeah.
He just celebrated his 21st birthday a couple of months ago. So now he can partake when he goes to Vegas.
Benching Baccarat, you know, it's been kind of a trend. I was playing with a Tart and a couple other drivers last year.
Is that a name drop?
I learned it. Yeah, well, he's my sensei when it comes to that sort of thing. He's a numbers guy. And it turned out to be a fruitful endeavor. So I hope Jesse has the same luck.
Now we're really going to take a gamble. And we're going to go to Dylan Welsh. What's up, Dylan?
Wow, I expected you to have a little more faith in me, Adam. We found Brent Cruz down here, who is just kind of supervising his car for the remainder of the year, the next 2 weeks. Got Chase Briscoe in the 19 this weekend. So what kind of opportunity is this for you, now that you've driven this car and for this team, to watch Christopher this week and another Cup driver next week? I don't know if that's been announced yet, so I don't want to spill the beans, but another Cup guy next week to just learn from, before you get back in this car.
Yeah, it's been great. Having those first 2 starts was a blast with JGR, and getting to watch Chase this week, a Cup veteran, and he's had a lot of success in this series. So getting to kind of listen to his feedback and what he has to say, and where he feels like, we need to be better as a group, and, where I'm lacking and all that stuff. So getting to kind of shadow him this weekend is going to be fun. I wish I was in the car, but just going to try to be a sponge this week and learn as much as I can.
Yeah, great opportunity to do so. Brent Cruz, as we said, watching over the 19 this week before he gets back in a few weeks to fill out the year.
Well, I loved what he said right there about, Chase getting in there and kind of evaluating where that program is. That's the one thing that Eric Almirola was able to do the last couple years in that, is give them a good baseline and a direction. And Chase obviously has a lot of success at this racetrack and in this series, and he'll be able to give them, some ideas of where he feels like maybe they need to be better at. So that'll be big to have him and whoever they choose to put in there next weekend.
Why are you laughing?
Well, because I think we all know who it is. But I'm with Dylan. I didn't want to spill the beans either.
I think it's interesting, for Joe Gibbs Racing to have this uncharacteristically bad start in some respects in terms of results, right? They've shown speed, obviously won the pole last week with Taylor Gray at Phoenix, but, Joe Gibbs Racing, dominant cars in this series, no matter where you go. Maybe you'd say the super speedways or the drafting tracks have been their sort of weakness in some respects, but they found speed a couple years ago at those places. So, yeah, they've got a little work to do to catch JRM and RCR.
Their best run of the year was for Brent Cruz.
I was waiting for you to give me the stat. I didn't want to steal your stat.
Americas. Hey, it's all out there. Take them whatever you like.
It's your stat.
Gibbs has won here 5 times, so you got to believe there'll be a real player later today.
Good odds.
Back live at Las Vegas, cars on track. And prior to the green going out, I don't know what the audition process is to drive a safety vehicle in NASCAR. Wow, let her rip. I'll say this, the spotters, they were impressed.
His life depended on saving that thing. That was awesome.
What just happened? He about lost it. Like 4 times. What happened? A pace truck? Super truck. So the truck set the oil dry in it. Came up on the banking of the quarter mile and went sideways and just saved it all the way to the next part of the quarter mile.
I couldn't tell if it was intentional or not.
I think he was just trying to get it done. You know, the NASCAR team there tries to get these things cleaned up as quickly as possible. We say leave the racing on the racetrack. Well, he was on a racetrack. Maybe we leave it to the drivers in race cars. But that was an impressive save. He's got some skills. If there's a team looking for somebody that's got some obvious car control, take a look at that safety truck.
I don't think that spotter's description was near as good as the video that we saw. He wasn't as excited as we were.
You know, all these heavy hitters were waiting to go out. Then we had the delay with the fuel and the fluid that was on track and the cleanup. But now they're all going out there, only going to have, you know, just over 30 minutes of practice time, which is plenty, with one set of tires. But it's going to be fun to watch where they cycle and who's got what. And right now, of the most recent drivers to go out, Jesse Love, the best of the bunch. He jumps up to 4th on the board.
Yeah, and some of that was that you have a green racetrack here, and this place has a tremendous amount of grip. It's green like that. It can also be dusty, which doesn't give you a good representation of what your car really is going to handle like in the race. And you can see how the rubber is laid down on this track already, just from the cars we've had out there, and that's more representative of what you'll experience. And this racetrack, the amount of fall off you can see here, especially on a hot day like we're having today, like Jamie referenced earlier, it can be immense, and that rubber lays in the racetrack, and this place becomes greasy and low grip, and so it just goes through a lot of changes, and these teams electing to just say, hey, we're going to wait till the track is more representative of what we're actually going to experience.
Well, part of the reason you wait also is Parker referenced there, is that when it's green, it has a lot of grip, and when it has all that grip, that masks the issues that your car has. So if your balance is too tight, when you pull out and it has a lot of grip, it just you can still run a great lap time even with the balance not being perfect. So I like the fact that a lot of these guys waited. The sand that's on the racetrack from the wind blowing here, getting on there, it gives you a more real, you know, situation of what you're going to have in the race. And a lot of these guys aren't worried about posting that single lap time. They want to get a good balance on their car.
Justin Allgaier trying to double down today, not just with what he did a week ago in Phoenix, making 2 in a row this season, but 2 in a row in the spring. leading Taylor Gray. They won the pole last week at Phoenix, finished 15th, involved in that crash late. One top 10 for them in 2026. And we rewind to last week and what went wrong late in the race. Just kind of wrong place, wrong time for driver 54. And this incident actually collected 3 cars from Joe Gibbs Racing.
An absolute disaster of a corner for Joe Gibbs Racing. To see 3 of their cars crunched together like that under that circumstance just adds to their continual, bad start that they've had this year. But we'll see. This could be the place that they turn around, Dylan.
Well, and just to kind of continue that theme of the Joe Gibbs Racing's maybe struggles to start this year, Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief on this car, and I talked about that this morning. And he said, even though they got caught up in that wreck in Phoenix, said the good news is from a platform and balance standpoint,
And we've got the 15-lap average in. Jamie referenced who's good on the long haul, and this gives you a little bit of a snapshot. Now, not everybody has done the 15 consecutive laps, so there might be someone that pops into this category later in the session, but right now, Jesse Love, Sam Mayer, Gray, Allgaier, Quapple, some of the usual suspects are up there inside the top 5. And here's Connor Zillett, 6th on the 15-lap average, making his second start of 2026 later today, Kim.
Yeah, we talked about some of the drivers on the splitter. Connor, one of those drivers, and he just keeps complaining about how tight the car is. He said, in fact, it's 5 numbers tight. Would describe it as plowing. Just came on again and said, I am just so tight. I don't know how much the track is going to change, but I am 7 numbers now tight. So they're going to have to work on that machine. And it was interesting talking with Connor in the garage this morning. And I mentioned the Cup presence in this series this afternoon and that he was part of it now. And he said, it's weird. For whatever reason, I don't really consider myself, part of that Cup brigade. I still really identify with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series garage, and so it's weird to think of myself as one of the Cup guys coming into this series.
It's kind of funny too, Kim, because you look at his stat line on mile and a halves, 3 runner-ups for Zilich. This is one of the few types of tracks where he's not been able to win at this level, so that's something he wants to deliver on. Really good at Vegas a season ago when he was driving this car. In fact, you look at Junior Motorsports, they won 3 of the 6 mile-and-a-half races in 2025, 2 for Allgaier, 1 for Larson when he was filling in for Zilich at Texas driving the 88, and here he is in practice.
I'm a little bit surprised by the lack of pace from the JRM cars. They were so good here. Both races, I mean, they've been good at every racetrack, but here, both races last year, really good. But I don't see much speed, and I'm hearing a lot of complaining from all of those drivers. A little surprised to see the lack of speed in all of them.
Yeah, Jamie, they almost look slightly pedestrian. They don't stick out in any way right now. I don't see any sort of hero lap times as they go further in these runs. Let's take a look back at Larson winning 2018.
Jamie's teammate.
Yeah. Nice.
Ironically, Allgaier, the guy giving the push, right?
Imagine Allgaier being in the middle of it in a race in Vegas.
Is there an O'Reilly Series replay he's not involved in?
Larson won that race, and Parker, I think you referenced it earlier, the Cup success for Larson here at Las Vegas. 3 wins, driving for Hendrick Motorsports, and the reigning Cup Series champion. Is really good at this place.
Hooking that bottom line right there. That looks nice, at least.
Clement, Sieg, Green, Love, Gray, the top 5. 18 minutes to go in practice. Just over 15 minutes to go. It's practice for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series here in Las Vegas. Sheldon Creed, one of 4 drivers to pull into victory lane here in 2026. First win of his career coming at Atlanta. So that night, he was on the positive side of it. Unfortunately, earlier this week, as he and the family made the trip out to Vegas, he was on the wrong side of it. So he and wife Cammie and the kids doing the drive from LA, made a stop there, coming to Vegas, and they ran out of gas. I mean, you know, he would blame Jonathan Toney, his crew chief, if he ran him out of gas. So I'm wondering how he feels about his execution of fuel mileage. Just an unbelievable story for that team this week in Sheldon Creed.
That's a bad omen, Adam. Come to the track, run out of gas at a track that you know you're probably going to do a green flag pit stop later today. I don't know. I just
say, you get it out of the way is the way you could think about
that's
it.
fair.
You know?
I'll say this, though. You know, Sheldon and Jonathan, JT, they really have executed the green flag cycles pretty well this year. Did it pretty good at Vegas last year. So maybe, as Jamie said, you know, you get it out of the way and put yourself in position here today. On board Austin Hill, who's got a good history at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Winner at Daytona to open the season.
And you'll see the earliest entry of basically any driver who runs in the top 10 when you go on board this 21 car. He will use the least amount of racetrack on the exit. It's what won him this race a couple years ago. It's what made him so successful here. He's showed us all this style of getting to this white line and making this car wrap around that white line. Didn't quite get there right now. He drives an incredibly loose race car, which allows him to have these very shallow entries, but then gets the car rotated through the center. What does that not help him do? Run the wall, and he's admitted that he's not been good at that. If that's something that comes in, he'll have to work on it, but right now, focusing on making that bottom work, and you see the way he gets to the corner, Jamie. It's just such a shallow entry. You always think of a mile and a half, big, wide arcs, that sort of thing, and he just points that car to the middle and to the bottom, and then just somehow gets it to rotate.
Well, his car looks significantly more comfortable to me than Chase Briscoe's. I know Briscoe, how many laps 27 laps he ran so far, and he stayed out there for a long time, but I thought his car looked very nervous. This car still has a lot of movement, but as I watch right in the middle, I see it get a little bit tight, and then watch as he takes his hand right here. He's going to rest, he's adjusting his belts, itch his eyes. He's been resting his right hand on all the straightaways, which is a sign to me that he's relaxed inside of the car. If you are super uncomfortable in the car, you'll death grip all the way down both straightaways, but he's out there doing a little bit of a longer run, and as you watch there, he seems pretty relaxed inside of the car.
We have joked about the movement of drivers and the different vehicles they're in this year, and I will say that today takes the cake with Zilich being in the field in the 1, Larson coming over driving the 88. It feels kind of like he should be in the 17. That's the full-time ride for Corey Day. And all of that puts Carson Kvapil in the 9. Third different car for him in as many weeks. He's going to run this car a few times this season. All of it an effort to make sure he is full-time and championship eligible. It just doesn't matter to Kvapil, though. I mean, he delivers no matter what car he's driving, it seems.
Yeah, last week it seemed like his day in some respects, Jamie. He was really fast, and I felt like it was lining up to finally be that big breakthrough. It just got away from him on those late race restarts, but man, he was quick.
It was his day. I mean, if you look at where he ran on both stages and had himself in a position to win at the end, and man, didn't do the block on one of those late restarts and then lost control of the race. I'm sure he beat himself up over that, but I think he has done an exceptional job this year, being in multiple different cars, different crew chiefs, having to work all that. He has scored points in every stage this year. I think he's done a great job. He's learned a lot since last year, and if I think back to this race 1 year ago, he'd never been here before. He comes here, he's like second in practice, qualifies well. He's going to be in the top 5 at the end of the race and gets a pit road speeding penalty late on, but I think Carson's done a great job for his second year. He's headed in the right direction.
You know, Dale Jr. is a TV guy, right? Do you think there's a conspiracy theory here that he just wanted to mess with us and move all his drivers and different cars around and just make it as confusing as possible for us?
Well, and this paint scheme is wild.
This is wild. Yeah, those are wild chips.
Wild chips. There you go. I like it, though, that bright orange. See those numbers there, and they really don't tell the story for Kvapil, who, as Jamie pointed out, has scored
understanding as the tires go through those heat cycles, so cooling them down, doing one more run that they're on right now. And, you know, they'll look at those lap times and have to kind of give themselves sort of a delta for that heat cycle compared to some that maybe just went out there and ran 29 straight laps or 25 straight laps. When you have those heat cycles, it can kind of skew your results. So right now, as he turns these laps, they're a little bit off from what I'm seeing in similar laps, but remember, he has some heat cycles on it.
Most laps turned in the session. Patrick Starpoli, 41 for him, 30 for Clements. He's the best so far in single lap in practice in front of Ryan Sieg, Austin Green, Jesse Love, and Taylor Gray. Just over 5 minutes of practice remaining for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Dylan Welsh, Kim Kuhn hanging out down on the pit lane with Parker Kligerman. I'm Adam Alexander, Corey Day in the 17, 13th quick right now. Had a top 5 run here last fall. This has been a good track for him. Got a pole position here, driving in the Truck Series a couple of years ago, and he's got a busy weekend. Racing the dirt car, racing his O'Reilly car. Let's go to Thursday night when he went toe-to-toe with his mentor. The white 57 is Kyle Larson, and these two getting after it. Larson got the best of him on Thursday on the dirt.
Well, it was about one lap from being the other way.
Oh,
he was on the move at the end of that.
And look at Owen, who's sporting the Corey Day hoodie. Do you think Kyle bought that for him? I don't know that he would allow that. So Friday night, I mean, here it is, Jamie. Day gets his revenge. He comes back and takes the checkers last night.
Yeah, I think Larson actually spun out early on in the race last night, but Corey Day has done an awesome job. Obviously, that's his home, where he's like his comfort factor, being on the dirt in the sprint cars. But this is a really good track for him, Adam. 4th year. Last time we raced here, and if you look at his results, I know there's been a little controversy about how he's gotten those results, but he's done an awesome job and continues to get better. And he told me, you know, he was most comfortable on these 1.5 mile type racetracks, and I've watched him throughout this practice. You see right there, as low as he can get, you know, left front almost on the apron, and 5 laps ago he was running against the wall. So I think this type of a track really suits his style.
He does remind me of his mentor there a little bit. When we talk to him, the way he's sort of going about this, calm, you know, just sort of taking it day by day. Pardon the pun on that one. But I think the big thing is that I see when I watch those videos of the sprint car racing is just how much those cars are moving around, how they're jumping around, they're bouncing, all those things. And I then look at this and I think, yeah, that's probably a good preparation for this sort of style of racing. And it's just something about it. If you can be really good in those and driving off the right rear and how much dynamic movement there is as you see him go to the wall right here, like that feel that he's going to have with the right rear of this number 17 car is, you know, ingrained in.
As I watch him, he knows what to do there, and his lap times still a little bit better around the bottom, but you see entering high like that, he's been able to produce pretty good times around the top.
And that's how you enter high at a dirt track, right? Put it on the cushion. You got to get to it right away, put it on the right rear, and work it all the way around. As we look at 99, Retzloff off of 4. Well,
hang on.
Yep. So that doesn't quite look like a sprint car, but I can tell you when we showed you the speeds earlier, over probably 170 miles an hour at that moment, approaching 180 fully in the throttle.
It looked pedestrian there, but behind the wheel it's not, right?
He did not feel the same way. That's when he got out there and he said, man, did you see that slide? They're like, yeah, it looked all right.
What was that pucker thing that Jamie referenced earlier?
Butt pucker.
Yeah, I was going to let you say it.
That's Jamie's.
Hey, what about Retzloff, though, in Viking? When you look at their results here in 2026, he has that runner-up finish, which is the best for Viking at Atlanta. Then last weekend, Alfredo goes out, qualifies 4th. That's their best ever qualifying run, and he paid it off with a top 10. And Retzloff, after 4 races, been to a lot of different types of racetracks and seen a lot here this year, and he's up there top 10 in points, which is very impressive for the driver from Wisconsin. And here's Raja Caruth in the 32. Top 10 every week for that car with 3 different drivers.
Massively impressive.
Yeah, he's done an awesome job all year long. He's another one that I don't know that what the expectation was for him, the fact that he had to go to all these different teams, but I think that he has done an exceptional job. It's not just what he does on the track, but when he gets out and he does the interviews afterwards, like he just does everything that you want from a driver.
And on this car, it says Cars Are Pain, but it's Donut on the side, Donut Media, one of the largest car YouTube channels in the last 10 years. Absolutely incredible channel that made insane car content over the years. Very cool to see them sponsoring this car. Cars can be pain, by the way, Adam, especially when they're not working for you.
That's right. His working okay. 14th quick right now is Raja Caruth. Here's Kim.
Yeah, Connor Zilic behind the 1 car this afternoon. I know it was plowing tight in practice, so how productive were the laps that you made out there?
Yeah, I mean, we ran 24 laps or so. The balance wasn't getting any better, and, you know, I wasn't learning much more. So, you know, I've been really fast at Vegas, you know, every time we've been here, so I feel good about our Carolina Carport Chevrolet and that, you know, Rodney's going to make the right decisions to get us where we need to be. But these JRM cars always seem to have speed, so I'm not too worried about it.
Connor, top 10 in both Vegas races last year, including a runner-up finish.
I sense a little bit of worry there, guys. You know, we pointed out the lack of speed, and that's what you do if you're a driver. You're like, well, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out when you put the next set of tires on. Kind of hopeful optimism right there.
You wouldn't bring up that you've been very fast in the past if you felt like you were really fast right now.
You're trying to convince yourself real quick in that interview that it's all going to be okay.
If not Junior Motorsports, who, right? I mean, you think about it, they've been so good, you just are accustomed to the fact that they're going to be up there. And we mentioned, you know, Joe Gibbs Racing hasn't been exactly where they want to be to start the year. So it's going to be interesting to watch how it all unfolds. Maybe today is Jesse Love and RCR is able to take the reins. Saw a quick flash of Daniel Dye running in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series again this week before the trucks return Friday at Darlington. And as we wind out practice, we finish with last week's pole winner, Taylor Gray, 5th on the board here in the session.
You know, interesting enough, I didn't see anyone do a green flag pit stop. We'll see if Taylor does it here. Yeah, he's going to do one right here.
Right on cue.
Yeah, knowing that you're going to have one of those, most likely in that final stage later today. If this is one of the hardest pit roads to get on, not miss, a lot of speeding penalties here. So that's great to go out and knock that out at the end of practice.
And those speeding penalties, you saw that curve on pit road, you can get tricked by that. Make sure you're to the outside. That curve can throw you for a big loop on pit road.
62 speeding penalties here since 2019, the most
Don't shortcut it
of any track in that span. Practice is done. Jeremy Clements, the pride of Spartanburg, South Carolina, leads the way. Busy day for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series here at Las Vegas. NASCAR Countdown Live comes on the air 5 o'clock Eastern Time on CW. Practice is done, and with qualifying on deck, here are the top 10 in the first session of the day.
Right, Jeremy Clements led it. He went out early when the track was green. There was a ton of grip, and we kind of see that throughout this leaderboard. If we look here, Austin Green up there. Now, some of these drivers and teams showed some good long-run pace. Others fell off pretty hard, and then when we go deeper in the field, we see names like Larson and Custer and Allgaier who were really good late in the run. So we'll get a better picture here in qualifying.
180 miles per hour, nothing, Dylan, when you've jumped off the stratosphere.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking, Jeremy, about we showed this video of you jumping off the stratosphere earlier. So, you know, it's no big deal. 9 a.m. going 180 mile an hour here. Well, hey, fastest in practice. You ran that lap early, and you just said, you know, the track has changed a lot. Temperatures getting warmer and everything else that's going on in the racetrack. So how confident are you in your race car that you're going to have what you need to qualify and even race it later today?
Boy, it has changed a lot. I mean, since we started to now, I mean, we went out, track had a ton of grip. I was nearly about wide open. And boy, that Alliance Driveway Solution Chevy had some speed and grip, and that was fun. But yeah, just working on the race run, trying to run all over the track, see what we got. We got too tight there for sure, but Matt and the boys are making some great changes. So I'm very excited to have a shot today, and it sure is fun to drive some fast Chevys, man. So I'm looking forward to the race, seeing what we can do, and hopefully wind up front today.
Yeah, 2 good weeks in a row for the 51 group. Fast last week in Phoenix and strong here again in Vegas. Kim?
All right, we're going to catch up with a pair of Hendrick Motorsports driver. Kyle, where are you going? All right, so we have this photo that we want to show you guys from Victory Lane on Thursday night. By the way, congratulations to both of you on your high limits wins. But the real question is, who bought Owen the Corey Day sweatshirt?
I hope they gave it to him for free. I think we did. Yeah, we did. He's
That was a gift from you?
Yeah. It's always cool, right? Owen's grown up racing and has watched his dad forever. So yeah, it's super cool that he's a fan.
How neat is it though to have Kyle in the race this afternoon and just to bounce ideas off of him?
Yeah, it's huge, right? You know, this is you know, my second time here, and he's done a lot more than I have, obviously. So, yeah, he can just relate things to me in a better way than, you know, some of my other teammates at Hendrick Motorsports that have never ran a dirt car or anything, or never felt things the way that him and I feel things. So, yeah, it's super helpful.
Are you giving him your whole notebook, or are you holding it back a little bit?
No, I'll give him whatever he needs. So, yeah, I mean, I think you always want to see your teammates do well, even the JRM guys. You know, I'm an open book as always. So, yeah, my car felt pretty good. I was just a little bit tight. Talking to him, he sounds really tight. So, yeah, Vegas is just you know, once your balance, especially in these, I feel like once your balance goes a certain direction, it just continues that way. So, yeah, trying to find, you know, the happy spot early in the run, I think, pays off. But, yeah, we'll see. I don't really know what to expect in qualifying here. That's what I'm more skeptical of. But just kind of try to get a smooth lap in and start the race wherever we end up and go race.
If you think you're seeing double, you are.
Yeah, well,
it's
so
all
confusing.
HendrickCars.com all the time. Nice little rivalry going on the dirt. We'll see how they handle qualifying. We'll do that when we return on CW.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Practice just concluding here for us in the O'Reilly Series. We're taking a look at some of the lap times and the trends we're seeing. So if you look down at the bottom left, this is Jeremy Clements, who went out early, went P1 on the board at the top. That blue line up there is Larson, who waited 20 or so minutes to go out. See, they don't have as fast a lap early. But then we watch as these trends continue. You see Clements goes up and up and up. But for Larson, that blue line, it starts to get almost linear in some respects. That's what you want to see as you get later in a run, keeping a consistent line as the tires start to fall off. But Jesse Love in that white line, look at this. This is beautiful. There's those little ups and downs. That's usually traffic, whatever, but definitely Danny Stockman looks at that and says, we got something for them late in the run.
Well, and as you look at that, as it gets to the top and it levels out, you got to think he probably moved up on the racetrack and found a little bit of grip to get those lap times to sustain like he did. Two-car looks good.
Kim?
We're going to talk to pit spotter driver extraordinaire Myatt Snyder before he rolls off for qualifying. What's the expectation here for your fast lap?
I don't know. We fought a lot of tightness in practice, but this rolling smoke Ashhurst Honey Chevy Camaro is I think we can get something out of it. So we'll see what happens, and afterwards I think I'm going to get me a nice treetop apple juice to finish off this whole practice qualifying session.
All right, you heard it from Myatt himself. Remember, we saw him kind of moonlight as a driver in the Cup Series a couple of weeks ago, taking the seat place of Alex Bowman after Alex was suffering symptoms from vertigo. And really, this is a dream. Myatt has wanted to make his Cup debut for years and years and years, and finally got to do it a couple of weeks ago at Circuit of the Americas.
He could forever say he was a Hendrick Motorsports driver, even for half a race like that. That's a pretty cool mark. Great to always have your helmet on hand if you want to have that opportunity when it presents itself.
Getting ready to roll. Qualifying coming up in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series from Las Vegas on CW. You just
Tower to Billy Pong. Loud and clear, Tower. As we prepare for the qualifying session, drivers can go straight up on the racetrack as they exit the pit road. It'll be green flag first time by, then the checkers. We will go straight through with no brakes.
Right here. We'll leave a spot for the 9, so go ahead and check up.
Co-swing for NASCAR. Practice and qualifying for Cup teams comes your way 2:30 Eastern Time, NASCAR on Prime. 5 o'clock Eastern on CW, NASCAR Countdown Live. It's round 5 for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And the Cup race tomorrow on FS1 at 4 o'clock Eastern. Qualifying coming up for these O'Reilly teams. 41 cars here, 3 go home. And who's on the pole? Find out next. We're live in Sin City.
Up there for the 9, because they're not doing anything. There's no guys around the car at all. Yeah, I'm up here. Yeah, we tighten them up a little bit here. Oh, pretty good bit. Find out, right? Set time. As long as you just get back up and able to get your angle right for one. Obviously, definitely doing it coming to the checkered. I'll let you know what the first you do. If you're free enough and you can get down there, that's fine. I wouldn't make it a big deal taking green. Biggest deal is taking checkered.
tires in qualifying.
It's race day in Sin City.
The tables got nothing on what the track offers from Las Vegas.
Ready to have some fun today. You know it, pal. 3, 2, 1. Green flag, green flag.
Off we go in Sin City.
A lot of speed here, a fun mile-and-a-half racetrack.
Clear, clear. We got it.
Go hard every lap. Be smart, but race hard.
I'm a roller just knocking on the door.
That discipline's awesome right there.
It will be elbows up today for sure.
Hope that 44 races hard like he did to us.
Love gets a little bit loose. Here comes Dylan.
I'll take with Almirola.
Winning is always on the mind.
Yeah, baby.
Riley Herbst will get his first career win.
I love you, Las Vegas. Let's go. What a race.
Y'all brought a freaking rocket ship.
It's showtime in Vegas. If that doesn't get you ready for what's going to come your way later this afternoon, I don't know what does. First mile-and-a-half race of the year. Qualifying gets us rolling now. First car out, 35 of Chad Fincham from Knoxville, Tennessee. One start this year, 17th at Atlanta.
And what will get you hyped is that when you go off in this corner and qualifying with a big run through 3 and 4, 195 miles per hour down into turn 1, and how brave are you in terms of holding that throttle in 1 and 2, and the same in 3 and 4 when the track is losing grip on the exit, the right rear is sliding out. As this car right here, Chad's gone way wide. You don't quite want to do that. Use a lot of racetrack. This place is one of the last great qualifying laps in NASCAR in terms of just absolutely holding on.
31-16 for Fincham to get us going. Dylan?
And Cole Custer is in the SS Greenlight Zero car this weekend. First start in this series in over a year. So how are you getting back adjusted to it?
Man, firing off, definitely felt like a fish out of water. Just, you know, a lot of differences from the next-gen car and the Cup car to this. So, but I think by the end we were in the ballpark. So hopefully get this Cisco Chevy up front. Felt like we have a pretty good car in the long run. Just have to, it's going to be different for the race. It's going to be a lot hotter, so we have to hit that right.
Cole's an early qualifier. He's going to jump aboard this car. Quick story, too, about the hauler that transported this car. This is the very first hauler that Joe Custer, Cole's dad, ever bought for a stock car when he was kind of getting the Haas factory team organization started way back in 1996. And Joe was telling us this story earlier today about Cole as a kid and how he used to play on that hauler. He took a big fall through the manhole from the second level down to the floor that kind of scared everybody to death. But since then, that hauler has been in service 30 years. The Custers have moved to North Carolina, and it's back in service this weekend for Cole. So kind of a cool full circle moment that shows how the organization has grown, and also kudos to whoever built that trailer that it's still going up and down the road all these years later.
Well, we go to Darlington next Saturday. It's like throwback early for this race team, right? But with the hauler and instead of the car.
Cool story.
Josh Williams goes to the top of the board, 30-50. That's big for him in the 92 because they missed the show the last couple of weeks. Here's Ryan Ellis. He's second, a 30-82. And we remind everyone, 41 cars here, 38 make the field. So 3 go home. 32 get in on speed. So if you beat 9 in the qualifying session, you know you'll race later today. Kim talked to him. Here he is on track. Myatt Snyder in the 30.
Myatt ran a 31:20 in practice earlier today. He's able to wrap that line. Car looks pretty comfortable and almost looks a little bit tight. See what the tracker shows here. Down into turn 3, just rolling barely out of the throttle. Oh, the thing got loose right there. Washed up the racetrack a little bit. That's going to kill all of his momentum going to the start-finish line. 30.97, so a little bit of a pickup right there for Myatt. I'm sure that felt good inside of the car. You mentioned Josh Williams, though. He picked up 2/10. That's a big pickup from what we've seen from these first few cars that have went out so far, so good lap for him. This will be a good test right here of where the track is.
Carson Quapple down into 1.
Gosh, he's low.
Line. Yeah, he got right to it, got the car rotated. You can see the tracker headed in the right direction. Then it comes down to 3 and 4. You saw what happened for Myatt. It's such a balance. How much entry speed do you throw in where you can get the car rotated, then get immediately back to that throttle, to full throttle? This looks really good here for Carson Quapple. Really stable.
Going to be a huge pickup over what he ran in practice to the top. 30.02 for Quapple, who was 30.55 in practice, Kim.
And Patrick Starpoli making his first Las Vegas start. So what did you learn during the practice session?
I learned how quick the track can change. I mean, I'm surprised the sun came out, the groove opened up a bunch, so people were working white line all the way up to the wall. So a lot of creativity goes into your lap here. I think we'll be bottom here in qualifying, but I'm excited to go out there and fire off.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And Parker was talking to crew chief Patrick Donahue earlier, and he said they've been loose every race this season, so they've actually reverted back kind of to what you liked in your race car, made that car a little bit tighter this weekend for the Doctor.
Well, we'll see if it works for them. Hopefully, we had a good finisher back at 24. Var Scott finishing his lap. It's a good lap.
Yeah, nice pickup. He ran basically in practice what Quapple ran, and he goes a little quicker here, a 30.41 to put him second. By the way, go ahead, Jamie.
Well, just for reference, you know, the pole here last year in this race when it was nice and cool out was a 29.43. It was all the way to 30.15 when it heated up. So I think that lap of Carson's isn't going to be significant. I mean, you might be at a 29.80, but I think that's a pretty good lap for having to go out early. We know that's a detriment for these guys.
And I was just going to reference the fact that Dawson Cram is not going to make a qualifying effort, had the engine issues in practice, so you actually just have to beat 8 on speed with him not taking a lap if you're going to race later today. Mason Maggio coming back to the line in the 91. Not bad, 5th for him, 30.85.
For those teams that really have to make it, this is a race you absolutely don't want to have to miss. Going all the way out to the West Coast and missing a race would be tough. We look back at last year here for William Swalwich. Jeff Burton gets to the middle, packs that air in the left rear, gets him loose into the wall. Not the way you want to start a day, but that's something that can happen, especially these mile and a half. So the aero effects and the way these cars can get air packed to the rear, it can just absolutely take away the grip from you at a moment's notice.
And when it happens, opening lap of the race, mid just crushes you because you just don't get any experience at all. But a good qualifying run going here. He was in the red till turn 4, a lot of green to the top. William Swalwich, 29.95.
He didn't even need all the racetrack on the exit of 4. You know, you saw him get on the white line, almost had half a car length to spare on exit.
It's like the left front hooked the line, and it just gave him great rotations. They would get back right to the throttle, and to your point, use very little racetrack on exit. It's one of the things you can do here. For whatever reason, you don't always have to be going all the way out to the wall off of 4. Sometimes it works if you get the rotation correct to be able to just have a shallower exit.
Nick Sanchez had that top 5 run earlier this season at Atlanta, qualified top 5 here in the fall, had a speeding penalty but drove back through for a 5th place finish, then driving the 48 for Big Machine, now driving the 25 for AM Racing, and he goes to 3rd. What's going on, Dylan?
Catching up with Chase Briscoe down here, who's in the 19 this weekend for Joe Gibbs Racing. You're another one that hasn't been in these cars in a little while, so how are you adjusting to getting back to the feel of these O'Reilly cars?
Definitely feels different. You know, last year I came back and ran Charlotte after, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and it was like I felt like a fish out of water. So, yeah, excited to be back, obviously, with, you know, Wix filters on this thing. And I feel a little bit more normal here. You know, it's just got more grip, so you're not sliding around as much. But, yeah, definitely a culture shock after driving the Cup cars. They just drive so vastly different now. So, yeah, it should be a lot of fun today, though. We're going to be up on the wall and moving around. So it's always fun to drive these things on a hot, slick day. So looking forward to it.
You get a lot of laps. Cup cars are getting ready to practice and qualify after we're done here on the CW.
Nathan Bird back in the 42 this week. The 2nd straight week he's driving for Young's. Jumps right in front of his teammate. Ellis is 7th. Bird goes 6th. And
take a look at this.
Yeah, he's flirting with it.
Oh, we talk about not using all the racetrack. That is all of it and some. Couldn't even fit a piece of paper between that and the wall.
10 cars have made a run in qualifying. Here is the 11th. The new dad, Josh Balicki, had some great pictures that he posted this week with his new son back at home in Wisconsin.
If you're curious, Adam, I looked it up. Cowboy Pillows are not necessarily pillows. It's a clothing brand.
There you go.
So, for all those wondering.
We all were. And we know you were curious enough to look. Balicki is 10th. Harrison Burton, just outside the top 20 in practice, coming off his best run of the season when he was 23rd in Phoenix, but 30th in the points. A lot of ground to make up, and hoping he can rekindle that mile-and-a-half magic that he had in 2020 when he was driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. And as he comes off of turn 2, look at this, plenty of green for driver 24.
It all comes down here to 3 and 4. We saw this from Nick Sanchez being really good down into 3, but can he hook and get back to the throttle? It's starting to go the wrong way, Jamie.
Yeah, he had an exceptional 1 and 2, big arc, was able to get to the bottom, but just not able to hold it. Almost hit the apron a little too much, maybe on entry. It pushed him up off the racetrack. He'd like to have that lap over again, no doubt.
30-11 puts Harrison Burton 4th right now, Kim.
And Las Vegas has been a great place for Ryan Sieg. We're close to a win a couple years ago here. So after practice, how happy were you with your race car?
There at the end, I thought we were right where we needed to be. So beginning, I was like, oh, it's not going to be a good day. And then we got it dialed in at the end. So I think we'll where we need to be. So I'm pretty pumped. Just have a fast Psyop Chevrolet and get to the race and see what we got. Just got to figure out our qualifying, you know what I mean? I think I struggle just a little bit with qualifying, and I've worked on it, so hopefully it shows on track.
If Sieg gets his first career win in Vegas, he's capable of it, we know that. Boy, what kind of party would it be with that group here, you know? Custer wraps his qualifying effort. Second driver to go south of 30 seconds, 29.99, driving the 0 for SS Greenlight Racing. Got them their only victory in the history of the organization, 2022 at California. We heard from Ryan Sieg. Here's younger brother Kyle out in qualifying, 13th car, making the 15th car on track.
Yeah, the one thing that I've noticed, guys, as you watch all these laps, how good William Swalich was in turns 3 and 4. We've seen multiple guys get close. But that middle and exit of 3 and 4, the 18 just had an epic lap right there. It's going to be a tough one to beat.
6 for Kyle Sieg, 30-34. You know, he ran really well here last spring. He was 11th, and that's his best finish at a non-drafting track. Dean Thompson out for his run. Harrison Burton, his teammate, currently 5th, ran a 30-11. Let's see what Dean can do. They were pretty close to one another in practice.
Remember, his teammate was so good through 1 and 2. Not quite the same level through 1 and 2, but not far off. But as Jamie referenced, what William Swalich did down in 3 and 4 was mightily impressive. The way that car hooked right there on that white line and just got rotated. Seems to just start slipping away for most of these drivers off of 4 if they don't absolutely nail it there in 3 and 4.
Right behind his teammate, a 30-11 for Harrison Burton, a 30-16 for Dean Thompson, and he is 6th.
You know, the wind is typically always a factor when you come to Las Vegas, and that's one of the things that drivers will blame it on getting into turn 3 because it normally blows from turn 2 down to turn 3, but we're looking at the flag. No wind today. It's pretty calm outside.
Yeah, and it can have such a big effect that, like, if you have that headwind into 1, it can make it flat out when it's not normally because you just have such a headwind and downforce created through that. And then to your point, 3 and 4, or turn 3 becomes really sketchy with that tailwind. It removes downforce. You're going faster. But when there's no wind, nothing to blame.
Wayne Perkins, first car out for Jordan Anderson Racing. 10th for the native of Bakersfield, California. Dylan.
Taylor Gray, another one of the Joe Gibbs cars getting ready to qualify here. What will be the toughest part on your lap of matching the speed your teammates got?
Honestly, that's a good question, Dylan. I felt pretty good with track rules. I felt like we were a little snug and needed to work around a little bit, but really proud of everyone at Joe Gibbs Racing and Jason Ratcliffe for bringing a really fast Operation 300 GR Supra. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's just this place is throttled down in qualifying, so it's kind of my place to qualify. I'm a throttled down guy, so I don't know. We'll see.
Thanks, Taylor.
Hear from Taylor Gray and check in on Chandler Smith, who's never finished outside the top 5 at Las Vegas in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Has a Truck Series win here, and for the 2nd straight week driving that 5 car for Hedinger. Didn't do bad last weekend at Phoenix, 7th in qualifying.
Had some speed there last week for a new team that's trying to, get their foot in here in the O'Reilly Series. Great to have an experienced driver like Chandler Smith behind the wheel as they try to improve their speed.
This is like the truck segment. Chandler Smith won at Daytona, leads the Truck Series standings, followed by Daniel Dye, full-time for Team Colleague. 19th to take speed here in qualifying in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
Oh, and that
Daniel's car looks smooth. He just kind of missed the bottom of both ends. Maybe balance being just a little bit too tight, but not a terrible lap right there at 30.20.
Yeah, the truck guys right there together. 7th and 8th, Dye and Chandler Smith, Kim.
And Anthony Alfredo coming off a 10th place finish last weekend at Phoenix. And last weekend you told me the expectation was a top 15. The goal was a top 10. So let's look at Vegas. What's the expectation for this team? And then what's the goal?
Yeah, absolutely. Great run last weekend, as you mentioned, Kim, and I think that was a confidence booster for our whole team. We've had the pace this year to do that, but we haven't really executed a whole race, and we've got a couple mechanical failures. So to go do that and execute very well start to finish was exactly the momentum we needed coming into this race, and I think this dude wiped Chevys just about as fast as last week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do in qualifying, but honestly, I'm more excited about the race and our long run speed we had in practice. So just thankful for Viking Motorsports. Everyone's been working really hard to get this deal going. You know, this is a new team this year for this 96 group, and it came together pretty late, but I feel like the progress we're showing has a lot of upside, so I'm looking forward to that.
So much optimism for him to be back with Josh Graham as crew chief a couple of years ago at Our Motorsports when they enjoyed so much success. Joey Gase finished his qualifying lap. He is 15th in the 55, coming off a really nice effort last Saturday in Phoenix. Oh, and into the wall, Patrick Staropoli.
I noticed he entered pretty low, and the car was starting to take it off up
the wall off of 2.
He's still in it, though, guys.
Yeah,
he hasn't lifted yet.
It was going to be
about
really good
up off turn 2.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
Look at that.
He was in the green when he hit the wall. Stay in it, come back to 5th.
P5. You would have probably been P1 if we hadn't touched the wall. Great job, though.
P1 by a second and a half, I think. Yeah.
I mean, he was up a 10th and a half off of turn 2 right there. Just stayed committed. But the way this track is, you can feel that because you can almost see the banking there. And then as you get to 2, that banking suddenly falls away. And he probably hasn't felt that yet. Felt like, hey, this is going to work out. And suddenly he lost the front of that race car to the wall. But great lap.
I thought the tracker was broken. Well, the tracker is clearly broken. Yeah.
He stayed
Good
committed.
Lap.
Brave.
I love it. Look at Brennan Poole. Also got a good lap going here.
Yes, he does. LeVar Scott, his teammate, is 11th, and he'll drop to 12th as Poole jumps up to 8th, 30-20 for him.
You have to think we've hit that point that the track's starting to get the rubber picked up and cleared off. Just looking at all the lap times starting to get better and better and better as we run here.
You know, I look at Austin Green, who's running full-time for the first time in his career, and he's really done a pretty good job at some tracks that he had never been to before. The one place he didn't take advantage because of a mechanical failure was Coda. Felt like that place would be good to him. Great in practice here at Las Vegas. And look at that tracker, some green for this driver from Concord, North Carolina. His dad is a series champion. His Uncle Jeff won the first ever race here. Oh, he lost it off of 4, but still a really good lap, puts him 4th.
Just missed the bottom in 3 and 4 there. You saw it. He was great on the tracker, but then just didn't quite get to the bottom, didn't get the rotation, and there from the middle of 3 and 4 to the exit, lost all that time as he got to the start-finish line. Still a great lap.
Briscoe getting a massive run come to the green. You saw him run high through turns 3 and 4. Going to get back down to the bottom here in 1 and 2. Oh, he missed the bottom. Kind of committed to that top now. Can't imagine that's going to be what he wanted to do right there. Had a couple of big moments.
Still worked for him.
His teammate leading right now, William Sawalich at the top.
Oh, it's so loose for him, though. Just can't pull on the wheel the way that he wants to.
7th for Briscoe.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in 1 and 2. I can't wait. Love to hear him break that down of everything that happened in about 4 seconds for him.
4 Toyotas in the top 10 right now. I want you to look at 2nd on the bumper, and that's Cole Custer in the 0. Got the HFT Alliance. Here's Ryan Sieg, another driver that fits into that group.
Gosh, he did a great job of getting to the bottom, carrying all that momentum on the exit.
That was beautiful.
Yep, keeping it all the way down the backstretch. We've seen 3 and 4 be where the 18 of Swatch has been so good, but good entry speed right here for Sieg.
Oh,
give up a little.
Oh, back the way he lost it. No. It
It was close. Fifth for Ryan Sieg, 30.065. From one veteran driver to another, Jeremy Clements out to make his qualifying run, and today will make his 535th start. That'll move him to a tie for second all-time with Jeff Green, who won the first ever race here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at Las Vegas, 1997. Won the championship a few years later. Clements going to match him today, and he will eclipse Kenny Wallace for the most starts all time. You see the list here when we go to San Diego in the summer Father's Day weekend.
Look at this. Look at this lap.
I mean, great in practice and absolutely blistering them in qualifying. P1, Jeremy Clements, 29.79. How about it?
Beautiful. There wasn't a lot of remarks. It just looked really stable. The same reason he had that speed in practice.
Jamie, I was waiting for the radio. Usually the crew chief loses his mind.
Yeah, we got nothing right there from me. Normally you get a little bit of a response, but the track is definitely transitioned here, guys. You look at Brandon Jones right here, 2/10 up, getting into turn 3. Tracker's heading the right way still, gaining. I did give a little bit right there, but wow, good lap here for Brandon Jones.
I didn't give myself room to grow. I celebrated Clements, and Jones one-ups him, 29.64 for Atlanta's own.
And I
Poor
think
Jeremy didn't even get back to the pits. He saw the pylon. He saw the pylon change in the middle of 3 and 4.
Well, to your point, I think this is going to be the trend here as we go further in this qualifying session. The reason this happens, you lay all that rubber over a 50-minute practice. The first half of the field picks up that rubber as we run along, especially considering everyone's running the bottom on both sides. And as you get later in this session, the track is cleaner. These drivers just have more grip.
Good exit of turn 2 right here for Gray. See what he can do in turns 3 and 4. Tracking the wrong way, but again, a good exit. Gave up a little bit on entry on both of them, but it's going to be really close here.
Pole last week, second right now in qualifying at Las Vegas for Taylor Gray. Right behind his teammate, 29.68. Missed it by 400ths. Last Saturday at Phoenix, Anthony Alfredo qualified 4th. Optimistic about what he has in the race later today. It's what he said earlier in the interview.
Oh, he missed the bottom right there. You saw that car go through the bumps, slid up the racetrack, and look at the time lost through there. 4 or 5 tenths just through turns 1 and 2, hitting those bumps wrong and sliding up the track. Now it's all about just kind of salvaging this lap together. He's going to be super disappointed with this. Ah, it's so frustrating thinking you have a good car and hit those bumps wrong, the balance be off.
Alfredo is 19th, Kim.
All right, down here just catching up with Justin Allgaier, our most recent winner in the series and the winner of this race last year. So we know you always have race-winning speed when it comes to Las Vegas. What about pole-winning speed? What can this car do? What's it going to take?
I don't know. You know, our Jerry Logistics Chevrolet is really good. Probably a little bit on the tight side, like everybody seems to be fighting at the moment. So, you know, we're going to see what happens. But, you know, I think for us, you know, the conditions right now are significantly different than what this afternoon's race is going to be. And we've kind of set ourselves up for that. So we're really proud of Andrew Overstreet, this whole 7 team, everybody at JBMotorsports, obviously the Hendrick Engine Shop, everybody at Chevrolet, Hendrick Chassis Shop, just all of our partners. You know, it's fun to come to the racetrack and have 5 JBMotorsports Camaros and know that you got a shot at not only a win, but, you know, a solid finish for all of us. So we're going to see what happens, and hopefully we don't qualify too terrible.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Busy weekend for Justin. He'll step in the Cup car for Alex Bowman, so playing double duty this weekend at Vegas.
Yeah, it's a great point, and thanks for bringing that up, Kim, and our well wishes to Alex as he continues to recover, and hope to see him back at the track soon. So one Chevy has been out for Junior Motorsports as we visit with Justin Allgaier. Carson Kvapil finds himself in the 7th position in the 9. Here's the 88 of Kyle Larson. By the way, got to pay off Parker Retzloff. Great effort for him in the 99 for Viking. He's 4th. And may drop to 5th. A lot of green here for Larson through 3 and 4.
Huge arc into turn 3, and then was able to pull it to the bottom. And look at the exit that it gives him. Larson with a super fast lap right here. Wow. 29.52. It's only a 10th off the pole here 1 year ago. I think it's going to be close right there. Junior Motorsports, obviously, has found the speed that they were lacking in practice.
I just love how he was skeptical when he talked to us before qualifying about what would happen in qualifying. That's why it's Kyle Larson straight to P1.
Hey, we're in Vegas. I would not want to play poker with Larson. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he never shows his hand. Here's Austin Hill. The car drove so well in practice, he literally could have dialed 1-800-PACK-RAT, you know? But he got his hands full now. Keep your hands on the wheel. Might come up a little short what he was hoping for. No, not bad. 6th, 29.90 for Austin Hill. Won here in the spring of 2023.
29.
Had Larson out there who leads. Now Corey Day.
Well, Corey's going to have a good reference there of what the track has in it. You know, the car's similar setup between the 17 and the 88. This has been a good track for Corey. Looking at that tracker right there, gave up a little bit. Maybe couldn't get back to the throttle in the middle of 1 and 2 and lost some of that speed down the backstretch.
Somewhere Owen Larson is saying, come on, man.
What t-shirt is he wearing?
Up, Corey. If he's smart, he's got the Day sweatshirt, he's got the Larson t-shirt. You know what I mean? He can manage both sides. Day goes 5th. 8 cars remain, and everybody chasing Kyle Larson. And here comes 27 Jeb Burton, fresh off his best run of 2026. 7th last Saturday night at Phoenix, got stage points, and if the chase began today, it doesn't, but he would have a chase position. Comes in 12th in the standings, does Jeb Burton.
And not just a good finish last weekend, he had just a great weekend. Qualifying, practice, stage points, everything. The 2017 put it together, so it was a great run for them last weekend. Oh, that thing is nervous getting into 3.
Oh, yeah, and it pays on the exit there. Just lost a ton of time. Gave up, what, 2.5 tenths, 3 tenths almost, just from the exit of 4 right there for that nervousness that you mentioned on entry. It's like you put a deposit in and you're hoping for a return on the exit, and sometimes if you don't get to the bottom, you don't get it.
Back-to-back Chevys for Jordan Anderson Racing. Jeb Burton 9th. Here's Raja Caruth. 2nd of 3 consecutive starts in the 32 before he goes back to the 88. Overall 10 starts in this 32 for the young driver from Washington, D.C.
Well, his commitment was a 10 out of 10 on entry. You saw him gain a little time on the 88 of Kyle Larson in through 1 and 2. Again, big commitment on entry, not quite able to hold it off on exit. Going to lose a little here, but still a decent lap for Raja.
Best for Jordan Anderson Racing, 4th overall. And remember the RCR alliance here as you look at some of these drivers up there inside the top 10. Retzloff and Caruth. Jesse Love still to come in the 2. Was good in practice. And here's Sam Mayer. You know, this team just needs to put a good weekend together. It seems no matter what the situation, they have speed in the car, they always have something that creates a hiccup. They've overcome it. They put themselves in position for success, and well, pretty good lap going here as he comes to turn 3.
Oh yeah, as he gets down to the 3, gets to the white line. It's all about the rotation, stays lower. It's coming back the right way on the tracker.
Look at this. Larson P1 right now, but not for long. Drops to P2. 29.46 for Mayer, who won a pole earlier this season at Atlanta.
Felt that one in my bones.
Sam.
Yeah, a lot of talk about Sam Mayer in practice. I heard a lot of teams saying they thought he had one of the best cars in the long run, and it shows here that they have a short run car as well.
Still 3 Chevys from JBMotorsports to come. First of those, Sammy Smith, who's got a little dance going.
Sammy's filling in his bones too. Good lap right here for the 8 car. Had a great exit at turn 2. Ooh, he's fighting that thing on the exit though.
A lot of racetrack there off of 4.
He's 3rd, right behind Larson. Four to go. Creed, Zilich, Love, and Allgaier.
Creed was so close to his teammate, the amount of cars, they wouldn't have had a chance to make an adjustment from anything maybe Sam had said, but all Sam said was he felt it in his bones, so I don't know if that would have helped him any bit.
Yeah, not a big dialogue there to go off of. Good lap, though. Look at that, right there on pace. Actually gaining a little bit down the backstretch. It's going to be all about turns 3 and 4. Big commitment on entry. Can he hold it, though? He's missed the bottom. No!
The move from Ford to Chevy has been good for the Haas factory team. Mayer leading the way in qualifying. Creed goes to 3rd.
I think that was a classic case of Sheldon was more committed than his car was in turns 3 and 4.
Connor Zilic, runner up here last fall. Back in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, where he won 10 times, setting the rookie record in 2025.
Big commitment
Way
right
higher.
there. Big commitment.
And it went away, lifted there, to not do what Starpoli did earlier. Once the car takes off like that off of 2, you just can't really get it back. It means you're just falling on the right front. The track falls away from you, and you've only got one choice, which is the lift.
Now the sun has come out, so gotta think that if you're one of these guys right here at the end, you want to hope a cloud will come back in and cover it up. It makes a big effect here at Vegas.
Zilic is 15th. Here's his best buddy, Jesse Love, reigning champ. And you see his reaction this week and what it's like, an opportunity to go out and beat some of the best in the business.
Go to battle.
Oh, yeah.
Was that movie 300? Is that from?
There you go. And look at this.
Good
I mean,
lap.
we
Good lap.
referenced the Alliance cars and Jesse Love backing it up for RCR.
Well, Parker, you referenced it.
Where are we going here?
Really good
Whoa,
on the long
whoa,
run.
whoa.
And just slipped away from him. Look at Mayer. He's already celebrating.
He never got that car to turn down. Went for the arc, Jamie, and it just got away from it. Started with the right rear, almost like it was loose on entry. Could never get it back down the bottom.
Such a good 1 and 2. Yeah, such a good 1 and 2, and just overcommitted, right? You have that good corner through 1 and 2, and you're just like, I got it.
Love is 7th. Here's the last car with Mayer leading. Justin Allgaier won this race last spring, won last Saturday at Phoenix, and I will tell you, qualifying for this guy doesn't matter because he started 17th at Phoenix, finished top 5 in both stages, won the race, overcame a pit road issue. He's not going to have what it takes to get the pole here today. It's going to be a second pole this year for Sam Mayer. We'll see where Allgaier slots in as he comes back in the 7. The man that won the title a couple of years ago will start 9th today on the pole, Sam Mayer. Career pole number 6 and number 2 in 2026, Kim.
Yeah, Sam Mayer P1. We heard the excitement on the radio. You said you felt it in your bones. What were you feeling from the car to know it was such a good lap?
Yeah, huge shout out to the Alliance cars. Like, having that in our corner is really good for us because we can kind of put our nose together and work together really well. So it helped us out. Having Cole in the field helped a lot too. Just kind of knowing what the track has, what each kind of car is fighting or not fighting. So yeah, I mean, the Autobell Chevy, obviously really fast. Huge shout out to everyone at the Hendrick Engine Shop. They're on a heater. What can I say? It's a really good organization to be a part of. So yeah, this Haas factory car is really fast. So really looking forward to seeing what we can do in the race. Last time we got the pole, it was very short-lived, but we fought back for a good day. The car was fast in the race too there. So hopefully it can be fast again.
We want to take a look back at your launch to start that qualifying lap. Maybe any concern you might have used up the tires? It was like a drag race off pit road for you.
I didn't know I smoked it that bad. A couple of the Alliance cars were talking about just being a little snug, so I wanted to make sure I get enough heat in the rears that they would work. And we kind of struggled a little bit with fire off in practice. Like, our short run speed wasn't that good. So I just want to make sure I do everything in my power to make sure that the car is ready to roll. But yeah, definitely maybe overdid it a little bit. I guess if you're gonna do well, you gotta make it look fancy, right?
Congrats.
Thank you.
Sam Mayer will lead the field to green later this afternoon, Dylan.
And Kyle Larson is on the front row with him, Kim. So you didn't really seem like super confident about your race car after practice. So do you feel like you guys got it better, or was that something where you just kind of had to do whatever you had to do to get some speed there?
I mean, probably both. I mean, I think your qualifying balance and race balance, I think, is always a little bit different in this series. So Yeah, I mean, the times that I ran, I feel like I don't typically qualify that good in this, so ended up actually better than I was expecting because I don't do this every week. You know, it's a lot different than the Cup car. I don't really know. You're kind of guessing on how much throttle, and the line's a little different than what we'll do later. So, yeah, I'm happy to qualify second, and my car actually felt, you know, it was tight in practice, but comfortable, and I thought our lap times were pretty good. So, yeah, we'll just get fired off here. I'm sure they'll make some better adjustments on it. And just get my balance even closer. So, yeah, thanks to JRM, Hendrick Motorsports, Rick Hendrick, everybody for allowing me to come do this. It's always fun. So, yeah, I just look forward to having a good night tonight. Hopefully you can run up front in this and head over to the dirt track and do a good job of high limit.
You're getting ready to jump in the Cup car for practice and qualifying, and the sun has come out. It's like instantly gotten about 10 degrees warmer, it feels like. So how much or do you anticipate the track changing just when you fire off in this car again in a couple hours?
Yeah, I was talking to like Allgaier. I feel like it's different. I feel like these cars like lay a lot more rubber into the surface, so you feel like you're sliding around more. Where the Cup rubber, I don't ever feel like it really lays down that much here. So I would expect to, yes, it's getting hotter than what we just had, but I would expect it to be normal for what we're used to feeling over there, and which is more grip than these have. So. But we'll see. You know, we have a new body for this year, so I'm excited to see if it feels any different or better than what we typically have here, and hopefully can go execute a good qualifying run like we just did here.
Thanks, Kyle. Busy day ahead for him.
You know, Kyle was my teammate for years, and his interviews are exactly what the team debriefs are. I don't think he's downplaying that. I think he's a little bit concerned. And the reason there's concern is because the expectation is to win. And in his mind, he wants to dominate this race. And I don't know that he feels like he has the car. The weather, though, will play into his favor. Being very hot, the fact that you're going to have to search around, most likely see him go around the top, that's going to play into Kyle Larson, the 88 team this weekend, into their favor.
If there's any element of unknown or adjustment that needs to be made in race, you immediately favor this guy because he's so experienced. And speaking of that, and Dylan referenced how busy of a day it is, not just on the NASCAR side, but look at his week. I mean, racing high limit Thursday night, gets the win, racing again last night.
His energy level never ceases to amaze me. His energy level for driving race cars and just constantly being behind the wheel and finding a way to be in a race.
And all
I think it's easy to have
styles.
energy when you win all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? Yeah. Like, I'll go do it again. Why not? I'm going to win. I've got more energy, sure.
Larson starts second today. Sam Mayer gets the pole. Qualifying is done for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in Las Vegas. We'll give you the full field lineup when we return on CW.